Hello, my name is Skylar.
And my name is Tyler. I pay respects to the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation where Dad's podcast is recorded.
I live on Bunjil land. I believe Bunjil is the creator of land of our first peoples. He is the creator of the land of where I am right now.
I pay my respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples.
This land always was and always will be Aboriginal land.
Hello, this is Murray and you are listening to my brand new podcast, Over the Rainbow, a podcast series dedicated to all things rainbow dads. I'm a rainbow dad to two beautiful children, Skylar and Tyler. I live in Australia and I run the group Rainbow Dads Victoria. I adore being a dad and I adore watching other queer men fulfill their dreams of becoming a dad. So with that, I decided to start a podcast as a way of capturing all the different ways that we become rainbow dads. I've recorded my entire first season and I think I have a great mix of episodes that will resonate. I have episodes covering the various pathways to fatherhood, including altruistic and international surrogacy. I explore navigating your relationship alongside being a dad with a relationships expert. I chat with a donor dad and unpack what that looks like. There is even an episode where I speak with a couple of rainbow dads who own and operate their own childcare centre. I speak with a family creations lawyer. I chat with a rainbow dad who is also a doctor and get him to answer all your medical questions and lots more. So with that, let's get into it. My first episode is with Luke and Jason, who speak to me about altruistic and international surrogacy. The saying love makes a family could not be more true when hearing Luke and Jason's story of how they brought their beautiful son Atticus into the world. Let's take a listen. Hello and welcome to today's episode. Sitting in front of me right now, I have two beautiful dads, Luke and Jason. Jason and Luke, welcome to the Rainbow Pod.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for coming. Now, today we've got a really special episode. We're going to be talking about altruistic surrogacy and what that means, and we'll be unpacking that. And we'll also be talking about international surrogacy because you guys have ticked every box in that area. But first, tell me a little bit about you two as a couple. Give me the relationship stats.
So we met 12 years ago in the infancy of dating apps.
Yeah.
So we actually met on Grindr, but it was, as I said, it was the early stages of the dating apps and it was still a bit taboo.
Right.
So we actually told people that we met via work colleagues of my sister-in-law and Jason, who this mutual colleague actually doesn't exist.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, so you made up a whole story.
Correct.
Well, since back then, 12 years ago, dating apps weren't
Yes.
available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know, I still remember where I was when someone told me about Grindr. It had first come out. They were from London. We were on this backpacking trip around Central America and there was a gay guy on it and her friend was saying, so what? There's an app where literally you can just see all the people that are around that want to have sex. And he was like, yeah, pretty much. And my ears were like burning. I was like, oh my God, how do I get this app? What's the name of it?
Oh my God.
It was a game changer.
It was a game changer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was before Tinder.
Yeah, it was way
So-
before Tinder.
So the heteros were very
Oh,
judgy. That was
Yeah,
very
for
judgy
sure.
Because
the
I
only
think,
thing back then was eHarmony.
yeah,
Yeah, right.
it was,
Yeah.
yeah. So Grindr was for the gays.
Yeah.
And there was actually, I think it was called Brenda. And that was a lesbian.
That was the lesbian one. Yeah. Yeah.
So I was working with a woman at the time and she is a lesbian.
Brenda, what a name.
I know. And
Not a lesbian.
we had this awful dating experience and we were like, let's delete the apps. And then I sat in her office and she's like, all right, let's go and do one more round on the apps. And so we both did it. And that's the time I met Jace.
We love it.
And she met a long-term partner of hers as well. So we met 12 years ago.
Funnily enough, then we were, because the Grindad's by distance.
Yeah.
Luke was literally in the next suburb, so we're only like 5 minutes away from each other.
Yeah.
Which made it very handy.
Yeah. Our first date, we started unpacking our lives and discussing things. And it was bizarre that we knew a lot of the same people. Our families have beach houses in Dramana that are the next street to one another.
What?
My
That's
sister,
incredible.
My sister, weirdly enough, lives across the road from Jason's parents.
But before that, before she moved in, so Luke came to my house, my parents' house, back then, and it's the first house on the corner where his sister lives now. And before that, he's like, that house looks really familiar. And yeah, went back to his parents and said, oh, this house looks really familiar. And his parents like, oh yeah, we own that house and we're renting it out. And then however many years later, she bought the house off of her parents.
Oh, wow.
And now lives across the road.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. And then this October, we will have been married for 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you've got a child, which we'll talk about in a moment. So you're locked in, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
There's no escape.
No, this is a long haul flight.
Just to the grave.
To the grave. Okay, so you guys have done altruistic surrogacy. And in a nutshell, for anyone listening to today's episode that is unsure about what that means, that is surrogacy with no payment. And that is the only way that you can do it in Australia. Paid surrogacy is illegal.
Correct.
And that's why many couples choose to go overseas.
Mm-hmm.
And you're also now doing that, but we won't fast forward that much. We'll come back to that at the end. Take me through what was happening in your lives where you woke up one morning and said to each other, let's do this. What was happening?
Well, Luke knew from the very beginning that I wanted children. So I said to him one day, I said, if I die before I have children, I said, I'll just let you know that I've had an unfulfilled life.
No pressure.
Well, like I said, I was always around kids, and then I became a childcare worker, and then I became a primary school teacher because I love kids. So we knew that it was going to happen, and we had spoken about, Luke had mentioned that his cousin, what did your cousin say when you were young?
So my cousin had always said to me, once I was out of the closet, that she would help me have a child any way that she could. She had 2 children through a donor sperm.
Right, okay.
So she was in a same-sex relationship for about 16 years. And so she knew the difficulties that we faced in Australia with surrogacy. So,
and that's your cousin, you said?
yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
So you had that in the back of your head when that
Yeah.
was always a card that you could play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people who've gone through the surrogacy process, there's a lot of empty promises.
For
A
sure.
lot of people saying, oh, I would totally be your surrogate, or I would give you this, or I'd give you that. And it's like, ooh.
Yeah.
In Australia, it's actually, I don't know if it's legislation, but it's frowned upon to ask somebody to either be a surrogate or an egg donor or a sperm donor. It has to be kind of under the realm of altruism. It's offering
Yes.
to give themselves.
It's funny that you say that because as a gay man as well, I reckon half a dozen times I've been told in my life of, I'd totally have a baby for you.
Yeah.
And
mostly after you've had your children. I would have done that for you. Where were you 12 months ago?
useless.
But I feel like
I love that a lot.
I feel like it's something that, is just said, but there's no real meaning behind it because as we will unpack, what your cousin did for you is huge. And that's why it's not hugely common because what is actually happening is so huge that not many people do it, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
It's also, and I think something really important to get across is that surrogacy is not illegal in Australia. Commercial surrogacy.
Commercial surrogacy.
Altruistic is definitely legal.
So in altruistic situations, the surrogate just can't be out of pocket for anything.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to pay for the medical bills, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
They basically say that the surrogate can be no better or worse off at the end
Right. Okay.
of the process.
Yeah. So at the end, when you had your son, you said to it, look, we were going to buy you a gift, but legally we weren't allowed.
Yeah, not allowed. No gift.
Yeah, that's true.
Not even a foot rub.
But I mean, what she did was absolutely huge. So you me back to when it was all happening and what the discussion was with you two.
Well, we knew we wanted to get the ball rolling. I think we
spoke to her.
Yeah, first Luke spoke to Abby our surrogate, his cousin, and she agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, she agreed kind of straight off the bat.
Yeah. She did actually offer. At that time, we weren't familiar with the process in Australia, and she offered her eggs as well as offering to carry. But we kind of knew that we wanted that to be a separate thing.
Yeah.
We later found out that's how it's done in Australia anyway.
Oh, okay.
So
Is that the way it has to be done, or is that the way it's commonly done?
It's the way
it has to be done.
If you're going through the actual process, the
Even
legislative process,
Okay.
So typically your egg donor cannot be your surrogate. In kind of backyard surrogacies, sometimes that is done, but it is fraught with danger.
Of course. Yeah.
You basically, as a intended parent, so the whole time you're called an IP or an intended parent, if your egg donor is your surrogate, there's very little ground for you to make a claim against, that child if she chooses to run away.
Right. So it's a protective measure.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because there's no genetic connection to the child
Great.
that the surrogate has. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you went to her and you said, remember when you said,
Yeah.
well,
And she said, hurry up because I'm getting older.
okay.
She had gastric sleeve and had lost, I think, about 65 kilos.
Oh, you bastards.
Had a full body lift.
Oh, no.
And because of that, her surgeon was very cautious about giving her the sign off. So we needed to get her to get sign off from her surgeon, remember?
They pretty much had the surgeon at gunpoint.
Yeah. Like, you will sign this off.
But do you think she had any hesitation? Like,
Not
I've
for a
got
second.
my body in
No.
shape. No?
Not for a second.
Yeah.
Nah.
I think she worried about what her body would do. I
Yeah.
think she was definitely worried about that. And
Yeah.
that is fair enough. But in her mind, it was something that was not a question.
And she's got 2 children of her own. Yeah.
Also, another thing that is with surrogates is you have to have completed your family.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So that was another tick for us.
Yeah.
But we got going right at the height of COVID.
Oh, right.
So,
Was that intentional or
we were just at home and thinking a lot.
Yeah. Hey, why don't we make babies?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, we need a third.
We've been trying, it's not working. Yeah. So it was during COVID. So the first thing was to speak to Abby, see where she sat with the idea.
But we had never, and then going to the next step where it was finding an egg donor, but we didn't know that we had to find an egg donor. So we just thought,
we could go to the shops and grab
well,
one.
we just thought, we're going to use Abby's egg. Like, I was fine with it. Then we found out later that that's not how it's done. And I remember we're at your parents' house. His sister was there and we're talking about it. We've got to find an egg donor because
we had been looking at the egg donor process with Number One Fertility.
Yes.
Because they had a branch in Ukraine.
How does that work in terms of the law here? So the surrogacy is only when the law kicks in, is that it's carrying the baby. It can't be for money, but the eggs where you get
pay
them.
a lot for the process.
Yes, yeah.
But you can't pay for the egg.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
So the egg donation is also altruistic.
Okay.
But
so if you were looking at Ukraine, I would assume that would cost.
It was about $35,000.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so it wasn't going to be cheap.
Yeah.
Yes, then we're at your sister's house? At your parents' house?
Yep.
And then his sister just said, oh, well, I'll donate.
She had just had a hysterectomy. And for some reason, her surgeon, with a hysterectomy, you can opt to keep your ovaries or remove them. And for some reason, she chose to keep them.
That's the universe if you believe in that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so, keep going. But she said,
yeah, well, then she said, oh, well, I'll offer you the eggs. And we're like, do you have a hysterectomy? And then that's where she explained that she actually kept her ovaries. Like, oh, my God, that would be.
So is your sister older?
She's older than me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And without even blinking an eye, I was like, well, you need to speak to your partner. She has a partner and 3 kids, now a husband. And she's like, well, it's my decision. It's my body. And he was totally on board with it and totally supportive throughout the whole process because it is not a small process.
No, I mean,
it is a lot.
Psychologically, there would be, I'm very curious to know whether there's any counselling or any processes that you have to go through to make sure that each party is, mentally as well as physically, but mentally prepared for what they're offering.
There is a lot of counselling and psychology involved.
Yes.
But
for everybody involved.
Correct. Including partners of the women helping you out. So you had to do a counselling and psychology series with the egg donor and then with the surrogate.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we did 6.
So it was, first it was us.
Yeah.
Just us 2. Then we did one with the egg donor.
Mm-hmm.
Then we did one with the surrogate. Then we did one with the egg donor and partner.
Yeah.
And then at that time, our surrogate was single, so we didn't have to do one with her, with a partner.
Yeah.
She didn't have one.
Yeah.
And then did we do one all
I
together?
mean, I think we did it all together. It was just a lot of
But it
Zooms.
wasn't just one. It was, a few.
And
Yes.
at a
I
time.
think for us, the process sounded somewhat repetitive because
Mhm.
the girls' reasons for doing it were quite obvious.
Yes.
And in defense of the system, they were very apologetic. For
Oh,
the fact
really?
that, we have to tick these boxes, but
Do you have to go through an accredited counsellor?
it's all through the clinic.
It's all through the clinic.
They organise everything.
Yeah. Okay.
And then all that kind of builds to this crescendo, which is the parental review panel. So they give you your tick.
Okay.
For you to say you are good to go.
Right.
But before that, before you get there, it's a lot of intrusive, the questions they ask. You're made to feel like that you are they're questioning a pedophile or something.
Yeah. Right. What are some of the questions? Do you remember?
Just were you molested as a child?
Yeah.
Were any mental health issues for you or your family? Else you remember?
It was just super intrusive.
Yeah.
But I suppose, again, in retrospect, it was, if you were doing that with a stranger, you'd probably be thankful for the process.
For sure.
Because
yeah.
I knew the girls' answers.
Yeah.
Nothing shocked either of us.
Yeah.
Because we knew them.
And I dare say those kind of questions, were you molested as a child and all the rest of it, is because they've got evidence of children being created for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was, again, it felt like we felt like we were being apologised to the whole time.
Mm.
Not only for the fact that we were being apologised to for this archaic process that exists in Australia, but then we're also being apologised to because, forms said, mother and father. And they were scribbling out mother and saying father.
Going on with that archaic part of the process, we had to get a letter from a doctor saying as to why Luke and I can't conceive.
So that is a formal part of the process.
It's a formal part of the process.
Right.
So we've been trying, Doc, but it's not taking.
And all the people involved were they were very apologetic. We're sorry, but we have to ask this or we have to do this.
But even little things, it's really remarkable. Little things like mother, father on the form. Wow.
Yeah. Because even though you're in a surrogacy process, and I think as queer dads, we think that only we exist in the surrogacy journey. But you've got a lot of heterosexual couples going through the process, and it definitely is catered to them in Australia.
Yes, but it should be catered for all.
Correct.
And
internationally, it's definitely catered, particularly to dads.
Yeah, for sure.
And so that process is reflective of that.
Mm-hmm.
But in Australia, it's definitely, you'd want to be sure of yourself as a queer person going into that process, because a lot of the times you're made to feel like you're another.
Yes, right. Yeah. I wonder with something as simple as a form saying, mother, father, how many queer people they get coming through.
Well, not many in Australia. It's so little. So the pool of surrogates that exists within the Australian landscape minuscule, because so many people, we have met so many people who think that surrogacy is illegal here.
Yeah, right.
Not fully understanding that it is only commercial surrogacy.
Yeah.
And so the network in Australia is really small, but people have had, we've got some friends that have had great success, and they've just announced they're pregnant with their second child.
Through altruistic
surrogacy.
And the same surrogate as
the same surrogate.
Yeah, right. Do you know much about that scenario set up? Was it a family member or?
Stranger at start.
What?
And met through the surrogacy Australian local community.
Right, okay. So a woman out there offering her body as a vehicle for a couple to have a baby with no payment.
Yeah.
Wow.
And she's doing it again for them.
I would love to interview that person.
Episode.
Because it's so huge.
Yeah.
And when I was preparing for this episode, I was looking back, I send out information to gather from you too and forms. And I think it was you, Jason, who said regarding your family, think of my big fat Greek wedding. Well, that's our family dynamic. Do you remember writing that? Yeah. And so then that helped me sort of expand my thinking. Okay, this is just a big family and a loving family and just wanting to do everything to support you two who they love. Because in my head, it just, wow, like a person is willing to carry a baby, they have no financial gain from that. That's love. That is utter, at the core, love.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
And it's like the shoe was only the foot now that I know what we've gone through to have a baby, like if I was a woman and, a family member needed to, and if I didn't have problems with being pregnant, you would do it.
Yeah.
Because I know what it is on the other side to receive that gift.
Yes.
And how precious it actually is.
Oh, it would be, and we'll get to that, but it would be so, obviously it's changed your life with your son Atticus, who's 2.5 years old, but it would have to have changed your sister's life and your cousin's life to give that gift. There's no greater gift that you could give somebody. I can't imagine, right? Except a liver, maybe.
Yeah.
Couple of million bucks.
Yeah, it is. I think as life kind of goes on and you get busy, it's easy to forget the gift.
Yeah.
And I don't even think I could classify it as a gift because it sits above that.
It sits above that. It's in its whole another realm.
It's got this perpetual nature that you almost feel in debt in some way. But I think the way that, just as Jace's family is my big fat Greek wedding, mine is similar to that. And it kind of, I feel like an elastic band. So we grow when we need to grow and we shrink back when we need to shrink back and we just get on with it and we move on. And there's no feeling from Beck or Abby that we owe them something.
Yes. Well, I mean, that's another thing that I'm really curious about as well. I mean, let's face it, the reality is that when, we all have high days and we have low days, we have good mental health days and we have bad mental health days. When you're pregnant, you've got elevated hormones. I'm curious, during any of the pre-discussions, when she was pregnant, post-birth, has there been any kind of indication of what the fuck am I doing, or, regret or second guessing or any of that kind of stuff? Did any of that come up?
No.
No.
Oh, I don't think.
I think Abby and Beck, both of them didn't have. So Beck's egg retrieval was botched, and
it was a little bit traumatic because she had the hysterectomy.
Yeah, right.
So when they go and do the egg retrieval, they're taught to go in quite firm to get the eggs. While because she had her hysterectomy not long before that, what's happened is she's actually cut where she had been stitched and started bleeding. So they could only get the eggs out of one ovary.
Right, okay.
So instead of being a day process, it ends up being overnight.
Okay.
And then a 7-week recovery.
Yeah, and then a 7-week recovery. So
which is huge.
With 3 young children.
Yeah.
3 young children, yeah.
Considering it's just meant to be day surgery, you go home, you're fine.
Yeah.
So it was a bit traumatic.
So that day she probably regretted her decision.
But we didn't have to. Didn't want to know.
Yeah.
But I guess what I'm trying to unpack is that you said at no time have they ever made you, what was the words that you used, made you feel like in debt or
Never.
You're owed something. And that, I mean, speaks to the amazing humans that these two people are, because you would think that would come out somewhere, but it hasn't.
No,
not
for a second.
Not yet.
Yeah. But also I think as well is what you were saying before, it's more than a gift. It sits above that. I think I would imagine once you go through something like that, it transcends all of those kind of things and just it sits on another level of just something special that you all hold together.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It feels normal that we did that together in a weird way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a bit heartbreaking that we can't do it again because Abby can't carry it again.
Okay.
The doctor said no. I'm like, well, let's go to a different doctor.
The first thing the obstetrician said when he pulled Atticus out was, Abby, no more.
Right, okay.
I'm like, shh.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that, Abby. But yeah, so it's because it was great doing it here because we could it
was like 4 best friends having a baby.
It's a movie.
So much fun.
Yeah,
it was so much fun.
And it would have been a lot better if it wasn't, because it was in the peak of COVID. So
yeah,
a lot of the appointments we couldn't go to. We weren't allowed to go to Abby's house, but we just did anyway.
Yeah.
So it would.
I'm sure that would have been, what were the rules?
I think it did fall under
care or something
like that.
Yeah.
So we would take her, whatever.
Imagine being stopped by the police for that one.
Yeah.
Oh, have we got a doozy for you?
Exactly.
You'd be like, just go.
Yeah.
So take me through, so you went through the counselling, you did all of that kind of stuff, you did the egg retrieval and Abby gets pregnant.
Yeah.
Tell me that, how did that happen?
So
we weren't even allowed to be, or only one of us was. Jace was
I went into the
transfer.
Right.
Which was very quick. So yeah, we did that.
It's very clinical. The whole thing is very clinical. So, yeah, it was like a 5-minute procedure.
Yeah.
I was on FaceTime. Beck was on FaceTime. And I was with Abby's kids in the park across the road from the clinic in the city. And it was like, boop. And she had done it and it was done. And then I think we waited 4 days. You're supposed to wait 7. And we waited 4 and we said to Abby, just come over.
Yeah.
Come over. Just do a test.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's negative, but just do a test.
Oh, was this the first time?
Yeah. First transfer. Yeah.
Wow.
And so we, I think now going through the process again and seeing other people and knowing more people going through the process, we had a very blessed
Sounds
process. Like whilst, Beck, we were only able to get 6 eggs and 2 embryos, 1 embryo worked straight away.
Yes.
Like first transfer, no issues. So we did the transfer day 4. It was nighttime. Abby came over, we did the test and boom, we were pregnant.
Yeah. It was very faint. But it was there.
And we still have that test.
Yeah. Hey, it can be a faint line for COVID and you've got COVID.
Yeah.
So it works the same for pregnancy.
You got a baby.
So what was that like? Tell me, what was that like? It's surreal.
I mean, I'm the type of person where I don't like to jinx anything.
Yes.
So I just was
We weren't allowed to talk about it.
No,
Yeah.
it's cool, calm and collected.
No expressions of joy.
Yeah.
I was until the baby is in my arms, then
But you must have been tingling from head to toe.
I remember we went to our parents' house that night.
Yeah.
So we went to my parents' house and my mum has no issue with expressing joy and she was very excited. And then we went to Jason's mum and she just expressed nothing.
Oh, okay.
It's like,
very much.
don't jinx it. It's a bit early. We don't know what I'm saying.
yeah, she's like, okay, early.
Mother and son.
we're 4 days pregnant.
Yeah.
But
and so I'm jumping, but what's the wider family, like mum and dad and siblings and cousins and all the rest of it? What's been the feeling there? The response.
Oh, well, really good. Yeah, all really positive. Everyone was just so excited for us. And I think because they know it doesn't happen so easy for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think everybody's been fine about it, excited about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they're not fine about it, it's behind our backs.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's it.
not in our faces.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
Yeah.
But everyone's been really supportive.
Love it.
Yeah.
So she gets pregnant and you're on that journey, like really on that journey. What happens then? You just wait for the baby to cook or, are you doing more counselling sessions? Or...
Well, no. So once you do counselling sessions, then you go to the PRP, which is the parent review panel. They give you the green light saying, yeah, you're okay to be parents.
Yeah.
Which is a huge, you're saying that very quickly, but that is a huge day.
It is.
Because it's everything you've been working
But she's
for.
pregnant already.
No, she wasn't pregnant.
Oh, she's not. Okay.
This is prior to getting pregnant.
So prior to getting pregnant, so before you even get into the process of the egg retrieval
And being allowed to do it.
being allowed to do it, you need to get that tick from them saying, yeah.
And that's you have to put your case forward to a panel of
And who does that? Is it
psychologists, judges, solicitors.
So traditionally, when it's not done during COVID, you actually go to court.
Yeah, right.
And you're like, there's a panel of people and they ask you certain questions and go through your application. But because we're in COVID, we did advise.
Who does is it an agency that does your application for you or that kind of like drives that? Or do you got to do it all yourself?
You have to do it yourself.
Well, there's the reason why not many people are doing it.
Oh yeah, it was a full-time job for me.
Yeah.
Because Jace was teaching at the time.
Yeah.
And I was slowly retracting from my full-time job. So I kind of took over the reins and it was a full-time job. We had folders. It was so confusing.
We had to find external. So there's a lawyer in Victoria that specialises in knowing all this stuff about surrogacy for same-sex couples and for heterosexual couples. So we had to reach out to her and say, well, where do we go from here?
Because remember we went with
Sarah Jefford.
Yeah, and we had gone with another solicitor and it was completely bodged.
So
then we had to
if anybody's looking at going through surrogacy here, Sarah Jefford is the girl. She knows everything about it. She's gone through it a lot.
She's also been a surrogate herself.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
So they pretty much just you do it all yourself.
So, I mean, how much would you say, this might be a personal question, so you don't have to answer it. How much did you pay?
So people have published indicative costs of the process and we started keeping tally of it and then we thought it best to not keep tally of it. We think it was somewhere around the 30K mark.
Right.
Because what also happens in Australia is...
But that was also including hospital. So we went.
Right. Yeah, we went private.
We went
So
private.
that was out of pocket.
So that was also out of pocket.
But also in Australia under Medicare, you get rebates for egg donation and that process, but rebates stop at surrogacy.
Oh, okay.
Everything for surrogacy is out of pocket.
Yeah.
Which
All your appointments
is another awful and archaic thing, because even if you are a heterosexual couple and genetically this child is yours, but you just cannot carry it,
Yeah.
you are penalised by Medicare.
Yeah.
And you have to pay. We assume that we will have to pay more because of our process. But if you're a heterosexual couple who just can't carry a child,
Yeah.
I mean, it's
just
it's a bit of a
rubbing
punch. It's
salt
salt
in
in the wound.
Yeah. But also another way to look at it as well is you're saying, and what you think is not a lot of people do this. It's because you have to jump through so many hurdles, it sounds like.
Correct.
And then there is a large price tag as well.
Yeah.
Whereas you could go overseas and it's set up, commercial surrogacy is set up where all of that you pay an amount and you're guided through it by an agency
For a lot more.
for a lot more.
For a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot more,
So
but essentially all you do is pay the
Pay
bills.
money.
Pay
Yeah.
the bills and it's done.
Yeah.
But it is a lot more.
Yeah.
yeah.
And there's that disconnect. This baby's growing outside of the world, whereas here we
Yeah.
had a surrogate. Here we went 20 minutes down the road.
Yeah.
We could check on her, hear the baby, go to appointments.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see what this process is going to be like once the ball starts really going and the baby's growing, and how do we connect?
Yeah.
So you would say 30,000 is what you spend?
Yeah, about
Yeah.
30,000. And international starts at a minimum of 100.
Okay.
The US is a minimum of 250.
Yes. I knew it was much more expensive in the US.
Yeah, and that's for the fact mainly that it is English speaking. It is fully commercial, but I mean, you still pay 250, but you can still have problems.
Yeah.
So we had friends who had had 2 children through surrogacy in the US, and I remember we were chatting to them when they were pregnant with their second child, and the surrogate went MIA for like 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And I said to them, "You are paying a lot of money. Like the clinic."
I know that some surrogacy agencies over in the US now offer guarantees. Yeah.
Guaranteed live birth.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what we're doing.
Good. Okay.
It is for anybody who's looking at international surrogacy. Definitely consider that as your number one option.
Yeah.
Because it will save you.
Yes.
Because you got to think about it. So as a company, if you were this owner and you've got a live birth program, if you don't have a live birth first shot, second shot, it's costing the company money. So it's at your best interest as the owner to get it right the first time.
So break it down. What does a live birth mean?
So a live birth means that you will have basically unlimited transfers until the clinic and you achieve a live birth of a child or a baby.
Yeah.
Whereas other clinics will charge you for IVF rounds,
which is very expensive.
Correct.
Yeah.
So with our clinic that we're going with, they do 3 included in part of their live birth program. It's 3 included IVF rounds and then unlimited transfers until you achieve a live birth.
Right.
And I think to what Jace was saying, when people are doing the research on different clinics and even within the same clinic, different options of packages, you have to look at the motivation of the clinic because, if a clinic might be motivated by the fact that if you don't get pregnant, you have to pay them $12,000, $15,000.
Right. Okay. Yes.
Every time you do a transfer. Yep. So if Jason and I do 5 failed transfers, it costs us nothing.
Yeah.
Another couple doing it in another clinic who don't have the guaranteed program have wasted $80,000.
Yes, got you. Yeah.
$60,000, $70,000. And so without even having our live birth yet of the baby, we would 100% say to people, do a guaranteed live birth program.
Yeah, because you've got that certain.
Yeah, and because we started and then our egg donor that we had, we only ended up getting 1 embryo.
Mm-hmm.
And we did the testing and it wasn't good, so we had to do the IVF again.
Yeah.
So lucky we did the live birth because we didn't have to pay anything because we got that.
A big thing in international surrogacy, which you can do here, but people don't do it, is the PGTA testing.
Okay.
Basically.
It is offered here, but it's quite expensive.
And what is it?
So it tests for all like chromosomes, kind of like,
kind of like the nip test.
Nip test,
but before you do transfer. And the clinics want you to do that.
For sure.
Particularly probably with live birth programs. Because they know that you're getting good quality embryos being transferred.
Yeah.
So that is another out of pocket on top of everything.
Okay.
So we've just paid for our next round, and that was 6,000 AUD.
Right. How much did you say?
6,000.
6,000.
Yeah, 6.
Yeah.
So
You must just feel like a bit of a well.
correct.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. I mean, this is by no means the same, but I was telling the boys that we're getting a pool.
Yeah.
And it's just
Pool's not an
expense
end-
after
it's-
expense.
Yeah.
And the other half leave.
Kind of the same. But let's just go back to Atticus. So your son was born 2.5 years ago.
Yes.
Tell me about, like, we can't finish that chat without,
So
telling me about
Atticus
his
was just a little
birth.
bit early because of Abby's surgery. He wasn't growing as well as much as expected. So we said, the doctor said 37 weeks, we'll get him out. 37, 5 days, I think it was.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So she,
And was this during COVID as well?
Yep.
yes. So he
COVID was just about to end.
he was born the 20th of October and the lockdown finished on the 21st.
Which one?
Yeah.
The very last one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In
So by that stage, we were well and truly fucking over.
Yeah.
2021.
Yeah.
So she'd booked in because she had a C-section for the other two. So she was booked in for another one with Atticus. So we knew the days planned.
Oh, that's good.
So we were all ready for it. We packed the bag, ready to go.
But before that, we had been having an argument with the hospital because the hospital were not going to guarantee us a shared room.
Mm.
So basically, because of the laws,
I'm surprised that you were even allowed to be there at all.
Yes.
yes,
We were, but so talking about the rooms,
Mm.
I had called because I wanted to make sure that we were getting a double room so that Abby could be in the room with us.
For sure.
We'd all be in the room together. There's no point her being across the hospital and we're in another room.
Mm.
So anyway, I was talking to the manager of the maternity ward and she said, look, I can't guarantee you the room. I said, you've known about us for a long time.
Mm.
we had been telling the obstetrician
We've been telling obstetrician.
from day one.
Yeah.
He's basically a family obstetrician to us.
Yes.
Like, this is what needs to happen.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't come out of the blue.
No.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And he had also been speaking to them.
Yes. And she said, oh, look, I'm not sure we can guarantee it. I said, no, you will guarantee it. We need to have this room. This is what got me even more in a state of rage
Yeah.
is that she mentioned to me that if we don't have a shared room,
Mm.
the baby can't stay with us. The baby has to either be with the surrogate or in the nursery.
Did they say surrogate or did they say mum?
Said mum.
Yeah, but
I said, no, she's the surrogate.
You'll hear that a lot.
Yeah.
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 And I said, well, technically I'm actually the biological father, so the baby can stay with me. And she said, no, it's got to be either with the mother or in nursery. And I kicked up.
That must tug at your heart a bit.
The whole time.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole time you are very much felt to be a second-class citizen.
Yeah. And that your needs as the parents are not being put first.
100%.
Yeah.
It's so you're in the process here. It's always the mother.
It's mother first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It should just be primary care.
yeah. And in fairness to the system, they are carrying the child.
Mm.
And so they are the patient.
Yeah.
And that was kind of what the hospital explained to us as a defense for the reason why they were saying what they were saying.
But weren't they saying post-birth?
Post-birth.
Post-birth,
Yeah.
that, if you guys weren't in the same room,
Yeah.
your baby would have to be with
Yes.
the surrogate.
Remember that legally in Australia, the child belonged to Abby.
Mm.
So Atticus was given her surname for
Right.
his first year of birth,
Yeah.
of life, sorry. So technically, it's a big grey area.
It's a huge grey area.
Because when he was born, he was given our surname
Yeah.
on the card that goes on the crib.
Mm.
But then they walked in the next day, remember? And they said, sorry, we have to change it to be his technical name.
Yeah, earlier you were saying that they put in protective measures for altruistic surrogacy, that the egg donor and the surrogate have to be different,
But then they're still classified as their child.
but it's still classified as their child.
Even when the whole first year of his life and getting all injections, even at the hospital where they're given the injections, Abby had to give approval, the surrogate had to give approval for him to get the injection. So it was like we were nothing.
Yeah.
We were lucky that Abby actually works at the doctor's clinic with my mum,
Right.
and that's where he got all his vaccinations.
Yeah.
So Abby was there. We've been going there for 20 years. So it was seamless for us in that perspective.
Yeah.
But in any other situation,
Yeah.
you would have to seek approval from the surrogate
Wow.
to get vaccinations.
Wow.
And that's the kind of stuff they talk about in counselling.
Yes.
Like, what are you okay with vaccinations? Where do you align with that?
Yeah.
Because your surrogate, you might find down the track, is, an anti-vaxxer.
Yes.
And-
or the other way around. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And she doesn't want to sign off that paperwork.
Yes.
So that is probably the purpose of the CADO.
But surely, please tell me, that's only at the start, right? And then,
It was for the first year until
Yeah.
until he became legally our son.
and how did it become legally yours? You put through the paperwork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to do that no less than something like 2 weeks, but no
More than 6
months.
And so,
The lodge.
are you both now on the birth certificate?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So his birth certificate says both of our names, and
It was-
my
it was
sister
a
Beck is
big
listed as a
process.
gamete donor on the back.
Right. Yeah.
But Abby's,
No, she's not.
She's not. Okay.
Yeah.
But Abby's nowhere. She's completely removed.
Right. Okay. Yeah. But that took a year.
That took a year.
Yeah.
It's a process. Yeah.
And, not that this was your experience, but had that been a worst case scenario and something had gone wrong, you're up shit creek without a paddle.
Correct. Prior to Atticus being born, just before then, apparently there had been a High Court ruling that kind of changed the way that the laws interpreted parenting,
Right.
or primary carer.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than being the birth parent, it was the primary carer.
Yeah.
So what the advice we were given was, once the birth has taken place, immediately take possession of the child. Start caring for the child. Don't let the surrogate pay for anything.
Mm-hmm.
And be very clear to the hospital, to everybody, who is looking after the child.
Mm-hmm.
The child comes home with you and no one else. Because if something was to happen, you've got proof that
You've got
you were
demonstration.
caring for
Yes.
the child. And, again, we're fortunate that we didn't have to worry about
No.
that, because there was no way Abby would want any more children.
Yeah.
She was never a flight risk.
Take him. Take him.
Never. Yeah, she was like, get him away from me.
Yeah.
I love him, but take him away now.
But it does, what this does is exposes gaps in this process, and the potential that if things did go wrong, the kind of imagine if something did go wrong and you've got a newborn,
Yep. The whole process is fraught with danger.
yeah.
And
There's not much to protect us.
Do you reckon that's designed to kind of put people off doing it altogether?
I think it's just something that hasn't been reviewed.
Yeah.
And
There's not-
in the Northern Territory, there's actually no legislation around surrogacy at all. There's
Yeah,
nothing in existence.
Yeah.
And all the different states and territories have different.
Yes. Sorry, in New South
Laws.
Wales, you don't have to do the parent review panel.
Right.
I think it's patient review panel.
No, it's parent.
No, PRP anyway.
PRP.
But in Sydney, in New South Wales, you don't have to do
Do
it.
that. No,
Right.
so you don't have to go and get the green light saying yes, you can.
And then Queensland has something completely different as well.
Yeah.
There really needs to be a national legislation.
And did you say in Northern Territory there's nothing at all?
There's nothing at all about surrogacy.
So do people go there?
So I don't.
Well,
No, I don't think you're actually allowed. I think there's a whole thing.
No, there's nothing about it.
There's
Go
somewhere.
crazy, people. Go to Northern Territory.
There's somewhere in Australia that you're actually not allowed to do, and I think it might be the Northern.
No, I think that was WA.
one of the states. You're not allowed to do it at all.
Interesting, very interesting. And so Atticus was born, greatest day of your life, obviously.
Was.
Yeah.
So we actually got to be in the operating room
Oh,
when he was born.
so great. Both of you?
Yeah, both of us. So we sat at Abby's head, and just kind of spoke to her through the process. And throughout the whole journey of her being pregnant, that was the moment she was the least looking forward to, because she just hates that procedure of
The cesarean.
Yeah.
The epidural is what she was like so scared of. She
Yeah.
was traumatized.
Isn't that the best part? Isn't that the one that like?
No, it's like, it seems traumatic.
Oh, okay.
Well, Abby being an anxious person like I am, an overthinker, she was thinking worst case scenario.
Yeah, she thought she was going to come out disabled.
Just say,
Oh, okay.
No.
Like the spine and all
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah.
spinal.
Just the spine.
Yeah. Just
Yep.
know,
The spine.
buy another one.
Yeah,
You'll be good.
So we got to be in there.
Yeah.
He was quite snug in her, so it took quite an
There's a lot of
effort to get him
tugging.
out. There's a lot of tugging, and oh god,
Yeah.
the image will live with us forever. But
Sound.
it was incredible. We couldn't be there for so much of the journey
Yes.
because
to be there
he
for
didn't
that.
grow in us, but to be there for that bit was magical.
Lots of tears.
And that's where I wonder what it's going
Lot,
to be like going through this time that we probably won't be allowed in the room. I don't think you're
Yeah.
allowed to. So
International surrogacy.
yeah, international surrogacy, you just handed a baby. So you've gone from this disconnect of baby on the other side of the world, living your life here, go over there, you've got another child.
Also, tell me how that works then. So Atticus is born, you decide that you want to have another sibling. You can't do it the same way that you did it because Abby's done.
Yeah.
Closed up shop.
Yeah.
And so you look at international surrogacy. What's that process like? I would imagine you jump on Google, you type that in, you've got all over the world, and you've chosen Argentina.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we looked at a lot of different countries actually. We first started in Mexico,
Canada.
but then Canada. So Canada is another altruistic country, similar to here, but way more advanced.
They found the way to commercialize the grey area,
Right.
Yeah.
basically.
Then we looked at Colombia. So we did a lot of interviews with companies.
Okay.
A lot of them now have Australian representatives,
I know, yeah.
which is a new thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was
So you put in an expression of interest or you go on their website and then they link you with the Australian representative?
Some were referrals because we had met a lot of people throughout our journey who were going with who had been or used international surrogacy or going through the process of. So we kind of reached out to their agencies to see what we thought, to interview them.
and then they have a lot of Facebook groups. So I joined the Facebook groups to see what people were saying, read lots of reviews.
It was interesting. We were going to go with an agency in Mexico and they shall remain nameless, but there's a Facebook page based around surrogacy in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And there were a lot of positive reviews about this clinic on that Facebook page. You dig a little bit deeper and you go outside that Facebook page and you realize that that clinic is actually the admin for that.
And delete.
Guys, I don't want to bring it back to my pool, but I'm going to bring it back to my pool. There's a pool Facebook group and a lot of the reviews on there, I'm like, this place is really good. Then I found out that it's people working for that company that are on that Facebook group saying how great the company is.
Yeah.
You only find that out once you've signed up with them and you're like, hang on a minute.
Exactly.
This
This is the same.
Yeah, we actually found out that they were deleting negative reviews. They were kicking people out for saying negative things.
Or they were even kicking people out for asking about other clinics.
Yeah.
Right.
So something to us about Mexico, and it's a very personal process.
For sure.
Very personal. Far, in a way, more personal than doing it locally because it's all about your gut instinct and what innately feels right as a couple or person if you're doing it individually. Mexico didn't feel right for us because of the underhanded nature of the process over there.
Which part? The part for the woman or?
For everything.
For everything.
Everything's an add-on.
Yeah.
Everything's we're closer with the government, so we'll get you your
sounds dodgy
papers quicker.
Yeah.
Don't go with that agency because they're not good with the government.
Yeah.
We just heard it's a little bit corrupt.
Yeah.
It can be a little bit corrupt. And when that's the same as Colombia.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
And we were kind of like the nerdy students. We're like, we're doing it. We've done the local process and, we followed all the rules. And then you start exploring other territories and it's about not necessarily following the rules because they are doing the process in altruistic territories. So they are navigating grey areas. It just hasn't been done here yet. But in the countries that we explored, it was actually only the US that was fully commercial.
And that's why it costs so much.
Yeah,
because it's a fully fledged business. They've worked out every way and then they put attached a cost to it.
Correct.
Yeah.
And in these just out of reach for a lot of people.
Which is cost prohibitive for so many people.
Correct.
And then so it's this juggling act where you've got to go, okay, well, I want the next best thing to the US.
Correct.
And it's got to have that gut feeling where it feels right, but it's also got to be within our financial means.
Correct.
Yeah.
And for us, that basically landed on being Argentina. We stumbled across that because we had been speaking to an embryologist who basically has dedicated his life to taking embryos and organic matter around the world.
Yeah, right.
And
because we didn't even think of Argentina before.
We had no idea about it. And then he's like, there's a new hotspot for surrogacy.
Yeah.
And everyone's going to Argentina and in particular Buenos Aires. And so,
which I've already said, I said to you, you're going to love it. You're going to love it.
And that, to be honest, was another reason we're like, that would be a great holiday.
Thinking about it, I myself was going to be living there for 3 months.
Yeah.
Minimum. So I need to feel safe with my children.
Yes. Yeah.
The language barriers.
So did you get an Australian representative or someone in Australia? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So our clinic and the reason why we almost went with another clinic. They were in Colombia. They're now actually operating out of Argentina, who we probably, in hindsight, would have gone with them had they gone in Argentina because they were incredible. But the clinic we have also have been fantastic. But we have a WhatsApp group, and we have our Australian representative, we have the owner of the clinic, and we have 2 others from the clinic in local Argentine time.
Right.
So the owner is from Georgia. We've got our representative in Sydney. So we've basically got all the time
Amazing.
covered.
He's in Melbourne, isn't he? Was he in
Sydney?
Oh, okay.
So we can ask a question, and it's typically answered within a few hours.
Amazing.
And so it kind of, a lot of the feedback we've been hearing from other people who had gone through the process, even, 2-3 years ago, was that communication, that time between, communication, whereas ours almost feels instant.
Yeah. Can I ask costs?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I think our package is 100.
100.
Yeah.
And guaranteed birth.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's
Everything's USD and currency fluctuates. It's about 100.
100 USD or 100?
100 AUD.
Yeah,
Right,
I think it's about 75 USD.
Yeah.
So, cheap.
Yeah.
When you consider, everything.
Well, you're getting the full, sounds like the concierge service where it sounds like it's a good setup.
Yeah.
You've done all your research and you feel comfortable with
Correct.
it.
And it feels...
And it's very, like you say, it's personal to you.
Correct.
Yeah.
And we liked that we have direct contact with the owner, because when issues arise, we contact her straight away and she's straight on it and all over it. Yeah. And this clinic are giving us 6 weeks of accommodation as part of our price as well. So, cool stuff. And the hospital that they have their births in is apparently like the premium hospital in Buenos Aires, and it just ticks boxes for us.
Yeah.
So we chose them.
And so where you're at with that process?
So we...
Because it's early days, right?
It is early.
So we just did our second round of IVF because, as I mentioned, the first one didn't go to plan. So we did another one, and we currently have 8 embryos that now are going through the testing.
Okay.
And then once you have embryos, then they organise the surrogate. So that can take up to 3 months.
Do you have any part in that process?
So they'll give us, I think, an option of 2 surrogates.
Okay.
So we're currently, because of the mishap that happened with the first round of IVF and the first donor, they're concurrently doing surrogate matching for us at the same time as the PGTA testing.
Right.
So we're hopeful that within the month, we should have a surrogate and our tested embryos back. So then we're good to go.
Yeah.
And do they talk about risks of what could go wrong with the surrogate? Like, can the surrogate change their mind or can the surrogate give birth and then, decide that they want to keep the baby? Is like, surely you've explored that?
Yeah, they're actually, because they're paid there. So it's like it's more...
Less likely.
Yeah, less likely. There's more protection for us.
Yeah.
Doing it this way.
Yeah.
It's like a job for them essentially.
Yeah.
So we're pretty protected.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So, I guess, I had this question regarding the altruistic surrogacy, but you can apply it to both the international surrogacy or the altruistic surrogacy. What is something that you wish you knew before that you only knew after the fact? If someone is listening to this thinking, I want to do that, what's something that you wish that you knew before that person can maybe pick up on?
From an altruistic perspective for me, which is kind of situational because of the fact that we had my sister and my cousin in the process, was this overwhelming feeling of guilt.
Right.
The entire time.
Mm-hmm.
They gave up a lot for us.
Yes.
And it's, in hindsight, it was 9 months. But living the 9 months is a very different situation. Sure. It's time away from their kids, time away from their families, time where they can't, use their body like they'd like to use it and be healthy like they'd like to be. So for me as, Beck's brother, Abby's cousin, I felt guilty the whole time. And I remember I said to Jason, look, this is what the counselling should talk about.
Yes. Sure.
This feeling.
Yeah.
Because they didn't touch on that.
Yeah. Joy, scratch a little bit underneath that.
Yeah.
Guilt.
Yeah. They didn't talk about that at all.
Yeah. And they also didn't talk about what happens, with miscarriages or because we had a time where Abby was bleeding heavily.
Right.
And, then the guilt she felt the guilt because she felt, oh my God, I've lost the baby.
It's their money.
Yeah, I've wasted their money. So where was the support for her?
Yeah.
and it wasn't there, and that wasn't spoken about in our counselling.
And even, I think, even in as close as we are, there is that very private guilt that
for sure.
that you don't necessarily want to tell that person about.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to, for Abby, she didn't want to tell us how bad she felt. And we didn't want to tell her that, that kind of aching guilt that we felt. And then when her procedure went wrong, like, you're just sitting there watching them in hospital beds and you're like, you're doing this because you love me.
Yeah.
And, maybe it's not so different for other couples who do altruistically with a stranger. Because, I could look at my sister on the hospital bed and be like, I know why you're doing this, because you love me.
Yeah.
But if you're sitting there looking at a stranger who's doing this and giving up, her life for this,
Which goes back to that woman that you were talking about before that's doing it the second time round.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is.
And they've now, the second time I assume would be different because they've created such a
bond.
A bond and a friendship that now, it's clear why she's doing it, because they've got a love for each other.
Yeah.
And it'd be like a best friend doing it for them now. But yeah, they're very fortunate.
But I think, is there anything that you think you wished you had known?
You're like, oh, fuck, I wish someone had told me that earlier. Like something like that.
I think
I think just all the work, that is a lot.
It's a lot
in Australia.
In Australia, there's a lot of paperwork. I'm thinking,
do you know, we're quite known for that as a country.
Yeah.
Globally.
Yeah.
Paperwork. Yeah.
Very heavy on that stuff.
And the feeling of that that you're not worthy of being a parent, that they're questioning you, that should you be a parent?
Yeah.
That don't let that get to you. They're just doing what's in front of them. They're reading off a script, essentially. They don't know you. It's got nothing to do with you in that sense. So don't take it to heart.
I think that's probably the theme of altruistic surrogacy in Australia is take nothing to heart.
Take nothing to heart.
Yeah.
Because nothing is, whilst it might feel very like a personal attack.
Yeah, it's targeted.
It's not at all.
Yeah.
People are aware the process is outdated.
Yes. And it's only once you go through that process that you get to see
Correct.
how outdated that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We certainly...
I didn't expect it to be that outdated. Thinking the country we live in.
Thinking we had to go to a doctor as two men to get a letter to say that he and Jason and I could not reproduce naturally.
Just boggles.
To me, is like the poster boy of
it's just
how our process is in Australia.
Yes, for sure.
It was embarrassing.
Yeah.
I think that
for everyone.
I think that was a common feeling.
At that point, I was embarrassed to be Australian, because I was like, this is
so stupid.
In a country that claims that we are so progressive.
Yes, yeah.
We're not.
That process would beg otherwise.
Yes, for sure. And now thinking about, because we'll come to the end of our chat, but now thinking about doing paid surrogacy or commercial surrogacy, what is your view on, because quite a few countries have got a good grip on this now, what do you think, what's your view on doing that versus altruistic, and then bringing that back to perhaps maybe one day it being available in Australia?
I think with international surrogacy, you pay and your problems are dealt with.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very disconnected. It's a very cold and sterile process.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we're only still at the beginning.
Yeah.
But kind of being with friends throughout their journeys too, there is a feeling of it being quite sterile.
Yeah.
Whereas our, journey with Atticus was so loving and family oriented.
Yeah.
This was always going to be different for us.
It's transactional.
Correct. It is very transactional. But in a way, it makes it easier.
Yeah.
Because
you don't have those feelings of guilt and all of that. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
We feel like, we are giving her something.
For sure.
And she is better off at the end of this.
Mm-hmm.
And she, it's a deal.
Also, that they've put themselves in that situation. They've come to the clinic wanting to be a surrogate. So they, they want to do it. They want to make a change for us.
Correct.
We want to make a change for them.
Yep.
Because they will get some money at the end of it.
And there's also heavy screening because some people are like, oh, they're probably just doing it because they're very poor. There's lots of screening that happens on the other end with the agencies to ensure that she's not doing this because she is homeless otherwise.
Yeah,
basically.
All motivated by just...
Correct, just by money. Or that making sure that she's psychologically sound to undergo the process.
Yeah. I mean, you would have done, when you did all your research, you would have looked for all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, looking at, when you're doing international surrogacy, is do your research. Look at all the clinics, look at all the possible avenues that you can go down and talk to someone else that has gone through it, or find groups
Yeah.
that have done international surrogacy, and go with your gut.
Go with your gut.
Go with your gut. We were literally we had a piece of paper, and we would have all the different clinics and have their pros and cons.
Yep.
What they offer, what they don't offer, the prices.
Yep.
Yeah, we wrote everything down.
Yeah. And then meeting with the representatives, you get a better feel.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, it comes down to, okay, we've weighed everything up. What's our gut telling us?
Yeah, and we were so close with going with the other company.
Yeah. The good thing is that...
And we even had let's have a second interview with them and just see how we go with them. And then that's where we're like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was live birth.
And you're happy with where you've gone?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Well,
I think the other clinic would have been just as good.
wait till you're in Argentina.
Yeah.
You're going to love it.
We're very excited about it.
Yeah.
I think locally there is such an opportunity for the economic boost that if for nothing else, I mean, if people want to say the gays don't deserve children, yeah, but think about that money.
Yeah.
Like, 4 international births in the US, $1 million. That's not being in the Australian, that's not being put into the Australian economy.
But that aside, it's the desire and the lengths that people will go to have children.
Correct.
You both want to be parents, and you were determined to make that happen. You made it happen through one way, and now you're making it happen through pretty much the opposite way. You did altruistic surrogacy, and now you're doing paid commercial surrogacy. Amazing.
I don't see why they don't do it here. So many Australians are going overseas to do it, and the dangers around that, bringing a 6-week-old baby on a plane. Why aren't they, keeping Australians here and, keeping children, not saying they aren't safe there, but you still go at risk of traveling with a child so young.
Yeah.
And we're in another country, don't speak English.
Yeah.
So, keep your citizens safe and keep them here and have surrogacy.
Amazing.
Australia.
Guys, I want to thank you so much for coming on. We got through a lot. Thank you so much. I just want to leave with you both telling me what a rainbow family is to you. I'll start with you, Luke.
I think a rainbow family to me is purposeful love. Rainbow families aren't made by accidents.
Yes.
They're not made by a one-night stand. They're made with purpose. They're made with intent.
Yes.
And our children can never turn around and say, I was a mistake.
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe you were. I think...
Go to your room.
Exactly. I think we get judged on whether we are worthy of being parents. But I think the lengths that we go to, whether it be adoption, whether it be surrogacy, whatever your means be to becoming a parent, we have to go through a process.
For sure.
And it's not handed to us.
Yes.
On a platter.
Yeah. You really jump through the fucking hoop.
Correct.
Yeah.
We fight for it.
Yeah.
And your love is tested.
Yes.
Your desire is tested.
Yeah.
And so when you
persevere.
Correct. And when you get your baby, it is the product of a lot of hard work.
Yes.
And so to me, that's a rainbow family.
Love it. Would you echo that?
Yeah, definitely. And I think, when I think of rainbow family, or I see a rainbow family on the street, the curiosity comes to me thinking, well, for us, it's not as easy to have children as a heterosexual family. So I think, how was your family created?
Yeah.
Whenever I see a rainbow family, I know that there's love and support and, that curiosity is, how did you go? How did you create your family? We know how we created ours. And, Murray, you created your family different to how we created ours. So,
which is hence the whole idea for doing this podcast is I meet so many dads who have created their families in all different ways. It's just that curiosity. Well, how did you do it?
Yeah.
How did tell me how you did it?
Yeah, exactly. And I just seen, I'm like, that child was wanted 110%.
Totally.
Whereas I'm not saying I'm not putting anything against heterosexual couples, but gay couples are better. But heterosexual couples,
go the case.
That they could have an accident, and yes, they they love the child, of course.
Yeah.
But with us, it's quite planned.
It's deliberate.
It's
and
deliberate.
It's purposeful.
Yeah, exactly right. So gays rule and
gays rule. If you learnt nothing from this chat, it's that gays rule. Thanks, guys. Once again, I want to thank you so much for coming on and telling me about your story. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.